Another massive data breach is impacting more than 100 million customers at Capital One Bank, which is headquartered in McLean, Virginia. Matt Gregory is here with what you need to know to protect yourself. Good morning, Matt. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Annie. This massive data breach hit one of the DMV's largest employers, and Capital One didn't even know about it until the hacker bragged online. Overnight, Capital One revealed someone had accessed millions of its credit card applicants and credit card customers' information. That affects roughly 106 million people in the United States and Canada. And at the same time, the FBI says they've arrested the person responsible, a Seattle-based hacker named Paige Thompson. Court documents say that Thompson gained access through a misconfigured web firewall, and the bulk of the information she took was personal information from credit card accounts and credit card applications. But 140,000 Social Security numbers were compromised, as well as 80,000 bank account numbers. And Capital One discovered the breach in online chats. According to court documents, Thompson, who goes by the name Erratic online, apparently bragged about the hack. So what happens to your information now? Capital One says they'll notify you if you're affected, and they're also going to offer free credit monitoring and identity protection to anyone who had their details taken. Now, this hack comes on the heels of Equifax's $700 million federal settlement. The federal government ordered the company to pay that out for a 2017 massive data breach. So there will be a review of Capital One's breach by the federal government, Annie. And that's one of the things you and I were just talking about going forward. They'll have to figure out what went wrong within that misconfigured web firewall.
Toughen up their security system too, right? All right, Matt, thank you. We'll keep following this story as it continues to develop. Right now, let's